Here is my Useless² project. It runs on a 555 timer generating a pulse that the servo's H-bridge can read. This causes a pulse clockwise until it hits the switch. Once it hits the switch, it reverses and goes counterclockwise until it hits the switch once again, and this continues to go on. Now you may ask why it can go so far. This is a special servo. It's continuous rotation. There are a lot of modifications you can make to turn regular servos into continuous rotation, but just so happened I had one of these lying around. This circuit operates from 6 volts. Here it may appear I have 6 volts, 7.5 volts, but really these have about 1 volt each, just over a volt, and they all add up to about 6 volts. This is really pocket sized once you solder it. It's a very fun toy for those who like desktop toys to stare at. Sometimes it may get stuck, but that won't stop it. Stop. There we go. The switch, just add some oil if you need. You could use a toggle switch. I use the slide switch because it's much more quiet, because a toggle switch is fairly loud. But already the servo is loud, so it doesn't really make much difference. But some people don't like the inconsistent clicking, so this can be used as an automatic annoyer. The servo noise is known to drive siblings crazy. Normally there's a screw in that center of the horn, but I removed it so I could try out different horns. I originally had a horn with 4 arms, like arms sticking out of it, but the alternating rate was too quick, so I decided this might be a bit more appropriate. Here I have 2 buttons. Originally I had them wired up as for this switch, so when I push this switch, the servo would rotate one way, and when I push this switch, it would rotate the other. However, I tried to do this with just the push button switches, but found out I needed to keep the servo upon those 2 switches to keep the servo moving. And when that happened, it sort of vibrated like a vibrating motor, and it was very unstable, and it wasn't too fun, so I did this way. Before that even happened, I tried doing one with a potentiometer, where a potentiometer adjusted the servo. Unfortunately, there's a certain point where the servo pushes it and the servo stops. It's smack in between both of the potentiometer leads. It's the middle, so it just stopped. That was unsuccessful, but this one is, and it sort of acts like the most useless machine ever. This is more like a Useless², which is 2 of them. This only requires 1 motor, that one requires 2. And yeah, that's about it. So go to my instructor bowl to find out how to build one, and have fun.